It is me, Warren Hayes. And Happy New Year. It is Happy New Year, Warren. I am your New Year's baby. That's kind of depressing. But nonetheless, hello. Welcome to this brand new year. 2026 is what they're referring it as. It's a brand new one, and listen, I'm gonna tell you, I legitimately hope and wish that everyone out there, everyone who pops into the Mr. Warren Hayes show stuff, has a very, very, very lovely 2026. And I can only ascertain, hope even, that 2026 is going to get better and improve over whatever the hell we got over 2025. And like we talk about 2025 a lot, but 2024 might be getting a little overrated, if you ask me. But look, we're not going to sit here and gloom. No, au contraire. We're kicking off the new year on the right footing, with some good times, some laughs, some cheers, maybe some jeers, all regarding professional wrestling. And that's all you really want, really. That's all what else do you want to start off the new year? Family, friends? Come on now. Come on now. What are we talking about? You want to have a new year that starts off with Warren Hayes. That's all you can possibly ask for. But I do hope everyone's been had a happy holidays, or maybe your holidays are wrapping up today. Maybe your holiday season is wrapping up today officially, and I hope it was to your expectations, that it hit all the highs that you wanted. On my end, I had a very, very, very lovely holiday season. I had a tremendous holiday season. As many of you know, I do the big December 25th meal, do the big Christmas Day meal. So I got all that set up. I had my oldest son from Montreal come join us for the week as well. And when I say the week, like, when did he arrive? He arrived on Christmas Eve, and he's still here. He's unfortunately heading back to the metropolis this weekend. But yeah, I mean, more than a week. So it's just been tremendous. It's been such a lovely time. And yeah, I did a lot of cooking. I cooked quite a bit. I enjoyed spending time with the people that I love. My oldest got me the board game Wingspan, which I was already familiar with because I have the Steam version as video game. And I play a lot with Kristen, and like, I'd often go to like our hobby shop here, and it would, they always have boxes of Wingspan that are there, and I'm like, man, maybe I should pick it up. And then poof. And like last week, no, not last week, but the week before, as I was wrapping up Christmas shopping, as I was going around with my youngest, we went to the hobby shop together, and he saw he pointed to the Wingspan box. And he was like, that'd be pretty fun to have, right? So yeah, it would be really fun to have. And I was looking at it, and I was like, ooh, that'd be great. Good thing I didn't do a last minute purchase, because that would have stunk. But yeah, so we got that. So we played some of that, and just had such a relaxing time, without any. You just didn't have any. We didn't have many. Much, I should say, obligations or running around. That's I feel like as I've gotten older, I've made a lot of choices in that regard, because younger and stuff, you know, the Christmas period is often hectic, and I'm sure for many of you it's hectic. And for me, I'm like, no, I'm gonna savor moments instead of trying to run around and hit like everything. It doesn't matter to me, you know, kind of thing. And then we capped everything off. That being said, we capped everything off last night with the traditional Warren Hayes movie marathon, where everyone who's invited comes with a movie that they picked from, any era of cinema, any genre, any language, and we just put it on and we watch it while eating appetizers for the entire evening. That's essentially it. That's what we did. And I went to bed very, very, very late this morning, but then slept in quite a bit, got up, took Juno out, came back in, went back to bed. And there you go. That's essentially the day I've had so far. And now I'm streaming. So that's how we typically ring in the new year, right? And I enjoy it, you know. And earlier in the day, yesterday, me and my kids, we played some board games again. You know, it's just like, that's what it's all about, really, man. Like that's where I'm at. You know, I don't pine for the New Year's Eve parties anymore, and haven't for a long time. You know, I guess I'm more, you know, I'm just older, I guess. It's as simple as that. I guess I'm older, but I also put a lot of stock and value into my family, into my kids. So that, you know, changes your perspectives. Not going out. The days of going out, partying and clubbing on New Year's Eve, those are far past. They are done. And I don't necessarily miss them. And I never thought that, even back in my day, right? Even back like in my prime partying days, I never thought like New Year's Eve was a particularly fun time. Like it was, there weren't necessarily fun parties. I'd go to all sorts of different types of parties all throughout the year. And then I get to New Year's Eve and it's like, yeah, you know, all of this is kind of mid. It's all, yeah, you know, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not necessarily fun. You know, I'm not necessarily like getting all excited and vibrating with joy, you know, at the thought of, hey, the 31st, you know, it's like more like, yeah, whatever. I don't know. It was always the case. I don't know if it's, maybe I just didn't go to the right parties. Maybe the people, I find people to be a lot more obnoxious on the 31st. At least, again, when I was doing it, I don't know. I don't know. Again, I am completely cognizant of the fact that I'm very old. So there we go. Anyway, and a happy new year to everyone. And welcome to tonight's Thursday night first stream of the year, kicking in the 2026 together as wrestling fans. We're all doing it together with Silver Apocalypse as well. Nice to see you, Silver Apocalypse. Welcome to the chat and happy new year to you as well. Silver Apocalypse also happens to be a member of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show channel. So there you go. Hope wrestling keeps getting better in 2026. We can touch wood, baby. We sure hope so. Justin Firestein, nice to see you. Welcome to the chat and happy new year to you. Happy new year to you as well. Carlos over there in Sports and Things shows. Rated N Louis, nice to see you. Welcome to the chat. Also happens to be a member of the channel. Look at that. And Kelly Tonjes, nice to see you and happy new year to you as well. You're not happy, Silver Apocalypse, you're not happy with your Ohio State Buckeyes College Bowl game. They lost to Miami. Boo. That sounds awful. Boo. I'm just blindly taking your side. Miami sucks. How could this have happened? Boo, Miami. Am I doing it right? Did enjoy the Stranger Things finale though. Yeah, I mean, I think this is something I'm going to catch up on over the next couple of days. I think that's something I'm going to catch up over the next couple of days. I'm glad you enjoyed it because I've been reading a lot of discontent, a lot of people that really don't care for it, and I haven't seen the Christmas Day episodes, and obviously I haven't seen the New Year's episode either, so I can't tell you exactly where I stand, but like in the finality. But the first part that they released before Christmas was okay. I thought I think I talked about it on stream a bit, right? On this on a bit of the warm up here, where I was like, you know what? I think it's there's a lot of exposition, not a lot of doing. I think there's a lot of charm that's missing. Look, I wasn't ready to throw it out. I was gonna give it a chance. Gonna go through the whole thing. I'm committed. It's like I know these people and I have to see it through, type of thing. Because I don't know how much I'm doing it out of sheer excitement or pleasure. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know if I'm ready to watch the rest of Stranger Things this year because I'm like looking forward to it. More like, well, it's just like we'll wrap this one up. We've been invested up until season 3. I'll just let's go see how they wrap all of this up. That's more where I'm. That's where I'm at, right? I don't know. We'll probably talk about it on next stream. I'll probably have more thoughts on it, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I think it's Finn Wolfhard who was given an interview. He gave an interview, to one of these, these junkets or whatever, these press junkets, and the interviewer asked him, well, who was crying the hardest, like on set during the shooting of the last? Who was crying the most? Okay, let me say that the question was, who was among you? Who was crying the most at the finale of when you were done shooting the last season of Stranger Things? And he thinks for a second. He goes, "Our agents." So it's like, I think everyone was just done with this and everyone just wanted to move on. We'll see how it goes. I'll have I'll share my more complete thoughts once I put it all together. Louis, yeah, I did remember your old name. Of course. Why wouldn't I? There you have it. So there you go. I've got things. We've got some stuff tonight. We got a lot of pro wrestling to talk about. We've got a big fucking show to preview. And yeah, look, I've been busy. On top of everything, on top of everything else, I've been watching shows. I've been reviewing shows. Like, your boy has been keeping up on everything he typically keeps up on. Like, I'm still delivering the content. I'm not sitting around with a thumb up my ass saying, it's Christmas. No. I'm spending quality time putting all of this together. Look, if we do the little housekeeping part of all of this, right? The Mr. Warren Hayes show, of course, was released yesterday. It was released here on YouTube and was released on your favorite podcast application. And within which I had 2 reviews. I had my review of AEW World's End, which happened, of course, this past weekend. So if you want to hear my complete and full thoughts on it all, well, there you go. It's all there and it's ready and it's available just for you. No one else. Just you. It's all right there. So you can go find it. And on top of that, I have the review of Stardom Dream Queendom 2025. Now, I don't understand why I always trip when I say Dream Queendom. Like, I can't say it. For some reason, I always trip between the dream and the queendom. I have to take a step. I have to take a breath. I have to I am unable to string both of these words together quickly. Dream queen. There's something. I have to do dream queendom. I have to truly punctuate the separation between the two. Otherwise, I mess it up most of the time. I've drilled myself into this because whenever I see dream queen, it's just I can't do it. There's something there's like this dam here that prevents dream and queendom to just flow out naturally. I have to do the dream queendom, and I'm not trying to meme. I'm not trying to be funny. There's no like gag to me doing it outside of me just being completely incompetent. So I did that review as well of a very, very good Stardom show, which I thought under-delivered in accordance to my expectations. And, but it was still a show that I liked, but I think I was expecting to like it more. I was expecting bigger things to happen on the show. I don't know. It's a mixed bag, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, like that look, it was still, don't get me wrong. I am not even close to saying that was a bad show. It was a very, very good show. I enjoyed it tremendously. And there were some excellent matches on it. I just thought some of the excellent matches would have been excellenter. That's all. Ultimately that's just my review. But if you want the breakdown, me picking apart the entire thing, well, please give the Mr. Warren Hayes show a listen to this week. And look, I mean, you might have already listened to it for maybe it's been a while since you've listened to it, because these reviews have all been available to members of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show channel first. They get them, members of the channel, I should say, when I say they. Members of the channel get early access to the reviews and stuff I pre-record. They always get early access. So, if you want to start off the new year saying to yourself, hey, I would like to have early access to the Mr. Warren Hayes Show stuff. Oh, there you go. It's the perfect time to start. New year, new early access. That's the saying, right? That's the phrase. Treat yourself, and then you support Warren at the same time. That's nice, always appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, the stuff gets released in early access, so you can have access to the early access. All the access is yours. How about that? So there you go. So so all of that is out there right now. The Mr. Warren Hayes Show, and over the next couple of days, I'm releasing the reviews as standalone videos as well. So you're all going to get the best of all these worlds. Let's see what else. The Dynamite review did not release today. I was very clear. I don't think I could have been clearer that I was not releasing a Dynamite review today, but I will be releasing a Dynamite review tomorrow. We'll settle in. We'll settle in. We'll record it. We'll put it out there. And you know what? I'm excited to talk about it. And I'm sure you all saw the big news at this point, the big title change where Willow Nightingale defeated Mercedes Moné in a match that I thought was excellent. And look, this was a great Dynamite. I'm very excited to talk about it tomorrow because look, I'm not going to spill all the beans, but here's a little teaser, right? I guess it's a little, a little mise en bouche before the whole meal, right? I thought it was a great Dynamite. Just top-notch pro wrestling and a couple of excellent matches I thought on the card. I thought it was a blast and a great, smart, I'd say unexpected finish. You're starting off. Look, AEW's starting off on a very different, albeit strong foot. So that's very cool. I'm very excited. Very, very excited to do the full review then. So so there we go. We'll absolutely be covering all of that, the whole Dynamite tomorrow. So be sure to be around. And then this weekend, right? Because today is the first. No, this Monday. When is it? Sunday. Today's the first. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday is January 4th. So you know what that means is Wrestle Kingdom 20. And I will be doing a review of Wrestle Kingdom this weekend as well. So on top of it all, yeah, you will also be getting a review this weekend. So again, it's a great time to become a member of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show channel. I don't think there's a better time. I don't think there's a better time. Especially you'll get the big Wrestle Kingdom review before everyone else. And I'm very much looking forward to the show. We're gonna preview it in just a little bit. So there you go. That's the housekeeping stuff kind of out of the way. Of course, we'll be back to our regular. I think next week everything will fall back into its regular schedules, right? Where we'll, the Monday night stream, the Thursday night stream, the Mr. Warren Hayes Show on Wednesday, and the Dynamite review on Thursday. I think everything will fall back into place. We'll be done being displaced because of the holidays. You all will have to. You all will cheer at the idea of not having to deal with my family being around. So there you go. Oh, excuse me. Something. How does that happen? I get something in my eye when I'm just like sitting at my desk doing nothing. How does that happen? Wasn't even touching my face, which is something I do a lot. Let's watch some wrestling. Nice to see you. Welcome to the chat, member of the channel on top of that, and a happy new year to you. Celebrating the new year by replacing the garbage disposal in the house and the fuel pump in the 96 Ranger. Sounds like another procrastinating day for you. Sounds like just another relaxing day at the let's watch some wrestling household. Happy New Year to you and to yours. Thank you very much for having me pop in and be a part of this joy that you're experiencing replacing the garbage container. Really thought Mercedes would lose all of the smaller titles before losing the TBS title. Me too, honestly. Me too. But I get I guess the idea in the circumstance is that you didn't see it coming because she didn't go on a tour where she started dropping titles right and left. It's just, she ended up dropping her title, her main title, right? So then you can be like, oh, well, this is going to lead to her dropping everything else, right? Like I'm sure at some point soon we're going to be announcing a CMLL match for Mercedes, either in Arena Mexico or maybe even in AEW or whatever. Probably in Arena Mexico though, and you know what's going to happen there. Like now the table is a little more set, as opposed to the opposite psychology where if she's losing all of her titles and then she faces Willow for the TBS title, then you're like, oh, well, she's losing all of her titles. She's losing to Willow type of thing. You're expecting it more. I don't think anyone was anyone really expecting Willow to win? Because I thought it was kind of a bold move for AEW to do the champ thing. That was kind of unexpected. I don't know. I was not expecting it. I didn't think they were going to do it, but they ended up doing it, and I think it's a good decision. And I will talk more about it on my review tomorrow. TNA will be on an hour later, so I'll be able to stay longer. That's fantastic. Their big premiere is next Thursday, right? Not well, in 2 weeks. Not a week from now. Right? It's 2 weeks from now, essentially. is their big premiere on the AMC, where they're gonna jack up everything on the show to get people to watch in droves, in tons of droves. Hopefully, well, we'll see. I'll just for now, I'll just leave it at that. Just leave it at that for now. But for now, this is the biggest. This is going to be the first Hooyah of the year, folks. It's the first visit of Jacques Molière of the year. Old Jacques is. This is how we should kick off the year. You know what? I should have done something. Now that I'm thinking about it, we'll do it for next year. But we should next year, we're going to release the precise timing in which you have to start this video, the Jacques Molière Nunchuck video. We're going to release the precise timing so that when you start it, it turns to midnight right when he says Hooyah. He will say Hooyah exactly at midnight, and we'll do that for next year if we're still doing the bit.
How you doing,
because at some point,
I'm Jacques Molière.
freshen things up a bit.
A little bit about myself.
But no, it's still fun.
I represent NWA, Mountain State Wrestling.
Hooyah! Bah, 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 bah. Hey, Patrick, nice to see you, man. Welcome to the chat. Member of the channel. Happy New Year. Had the nunchuck ball drop. See, that's a... we could do that. You know, now that Jacques is back, like into the, now that he's back into the consciousness of professional wrestling fans, i.e. here on the channel, I think it's safe to say that he is I think we could contact him and try to get him to do something custom for us, right? Like a New Year's ball drop, but with his nunchucks or something. Right? Probably, likely. I don't know. So this is the plan that we have here tonight, right here, our little docket. So okay, we're going to start I'm going to start by sharing some great news with you all. Okay. I think this is probably some of the best news that we could get here to start off 2026. And that is new unhinged EC3 content that is going to clearly guide us throughout 2026. I'll tell you, friends, I cannot think of something more appealing to me than EC3 going back to posting how, about how great he is, about his ethic, his work ethic, his perception of the business. I am so thrilled. We are so back. Okay. I legitimately believe this. And I don't know if you saw this, but you're about to see. I saw it and I cheered. He posted this today. Look at this. January 1st, 2026. It's like no caption. He's like, here, the images will speak for themselves. Now you have, look at this extraordinary image here. Just plain white text. A sans serif typeface. Couldn't quite identify it. I think maybe, I don't know, maybe something like Roboto Maybe open sans could be as simple as that. But look, on a white, black on white, a picture of him looking down as the shadows cast upon his face in black and white as he looks down, holding what appears to be the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, aka the 10 pounds of gold. And this is what it said. This is what this image reads. Title. This is the title. Close. In big bold letters. My time with the National Wrestling Alliance has come to an end, period. He put a period at his subtitle, folks. That's how definitive this statement is. A period is the symbol of closure. It ends, it wraps up. When you finish an idea, when you are done with a statement, when it is ready to move on to the next one, what do you put at the end of the sentence? You put a period. Who cares if this is a subtitle and that, probably, if you follow the AP style or maybe even the Chicago style, well, you shouldn't be adding punctuation to your subtitles. Like, who cares about that? Besides, this is EC3. He's a maverick. Can do what he wants. I'm grateful for the opportunities I was given and the people I shared the work with. The top 1% was never a gimmick. It is a standard. Future actions will reflect that. Signed EC3. Now, when I saw this quickly, without reading the text, the first thing was like, oh, he wrote a poem. Like, it looks like they look like stanzas, And he's got a little haiku going here. But no. It's just a thing. It's just text, and it's I guess it's graphic design is what it is. And aligning the text to the left so that it doesn't encroach, so that the white space that is created here over his head, right? So that the white space here continues to convey that sense of not of emptiness, but limitless possibility. There's another image, and I'm done. Legacy. I'm not sure he used the same. I'm not sure he used the same font. I'm not sure he used the same font. Look at the E here on close. Okay, look at the E. You see how it is? It's all bold. It's standing. It's proud. Look at this one here. It's a little squished. It's a little shifty. See? It's not the same E. It's not the same font. This one's a little more squished. Look at the L. The L here, much weaker here. Anyway. Becoming is self-overcoming, man. The #overman year as NWA World's Champion mattered to me. It's such a funny sentence. I'm sure at least it mattered to someone. Over 80 defenses across 4 continents, initiating collaborations, building momentum, opening doors, work done, responsibility carried, asses kicked. Okay. I mean, look, it might be true, but what are the collaborations that this initiated? I haven't. Chad, am I missing anything? Like, I have seen collaborations in wrestling all throughout 2025. I've seen important collaborations all throughout 2025 in pro wrestling. I'm just wondering where the NWA fell into all this, because I didn't see building momentum. Okay, what momentum? I heard no buzz around EC3's World Championship run. Opening doors. Okay, again, not quite sure. Maybe making this up. I don't know. There were moments I'm especially proud of, though, he says. Sawin. Is that how you're supposed to pronounce it? In my home base of Cleveland, Ohio, against Latimer. The ultimate match or death against Cardona. I'm assuming there's a typo there. Defending the championship in my first and only match against Jax Dane. Former NWA World's Champion himself, but not necessarily a top tier guy. Let's put it that way. And yes, I retired Tyrus. You're welcome. Little victories, I guess, right? Everyone has already forgotten about Tyrus, so that run came with wear. It came with cost. It came with people showing up. Did it? Did it though? Because again, I haven't heard anything about this. Anyway, being champion just isn't just about holding gold and performing. It's about carrying weight when no one's watching. All right. Okay. Yeah. If you only saw what I was doing behind the scenes type of thing. Sure. Okay. Get it. I treated the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship with respect for its history, its legacy, and what it's meant to represent. Legacy requires a standard. I'm proud of the work. Signed, EC3. Oh, hang on. Wait. So we have another image of EC3. Very similar to the first one. Right? But this time, same situation. He's got his head down. Right? He's looking at the ground, his face cast in shadow dramatically. He's in black and white, except now he's wearing the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, and he has a pauldron upon his shoulder. I'm going to tell you, sports fans, I'm not so sure this is not the same image. Just was shit photoshopped. I'm not super sure. Proof is the last of the 3 images that EC3 has provided. Alongside performing, I helped establish Exodus Pro as the NWA's first territory, built on standards, self-directed creativity, and legitimate talent development. Multiple wrestlers who came through our system went on to appear on the NWA main roster. That wasn't by accident. That was culture producing results. I'm proud of them. They know. Leadership in wrestling is rarely discussed and even rarer to see practiced. It means taking the calls, answering the questions, and holding space. Being available in ways that never shows up on a card or a poster. It isn't something you're asked to do. It's something you step into when the role demands it. That's how you show work. Respect for the work. Building the future matters to me. That work continues. Signed, EC3. And we have a much more glamorous shot here of EC3 in sunglasses and a fuzzy coat or fuzzy trim. Coat with a fuzzy trim. And he's flanked by 2 gentlemen who I do not recognize. I'm assuming that they are part of this Exodus Pro and probably even wrestled on NWA television. If I were, privy to all of that, I'd probably know who these people are, but I don't know who they are. But this is where we're at. And I gotta tell you, sports fans, once again, I think this is, there's nothing that says more Okay. I'm going to try and put it very plainly. I think that if you are a locker room leader, and someone who truly steps up, you don't have to crow about it yourself. I think in those circumstances, the people that you help, the people you stake out your neck for, the people that you look after, that you train, or whatever the circumstance, however you want to talk about it, they are the ones who end up talking for you. This coming up and saying, I am a leader. I say, I do the standard. You're not asked to be a leader. You step into that role. I'm like, that's very cringe, but it is EC3. And I'm not mad. This is not upsetting me. I want to make sure that this is clear. This is not something that upsets me. This, starting off the year with Ethan Carter III, the 1%er, which was never a gimmick, okay? He said it right there in the first part of his haiku. Haiku. What's wrong with me? He said it right there. It's not a gimmick. EC3 starting off 2026, giving us this gem and then promising more. Oh, friends, my heart skips a flutter. This is the content I love. This is the kind of stuff that I want to just soak and bathe in. It's tremendous. I think like more and more. I feel like we missed out for the majority of the year on this type of EC3 content. Now we're starting off with a bang. And he's coming back. He's going to be free from the NWA, and he has big things coming up. He's got some big things coming up, folks. What could these be big things? What could these big things be? Well, let me tell you, I think it's a podcast. I think it is a good old-fashioned wrestler podcast. Because what else could it be that is big? Is he like more invested into Exodus Pro? Look, no disrespect. If he's going in there, I want to make sure that I'm clear. If he's going in there and he's working with an entire new generation of guys and, just working very close with them and whatnot, that's awesome. And I'm not gonna make light of that. That's tremendous and good for him, right? But it's not a big thing. What's coming up? And even, I don't know if you saw this, I'm going to pull it up here. The editorial style, who does a lot of wrestler videos. I don't know if you saw this one, but Danny's been working on, she's been working on a video with EC3 apparently because she posted a little behind the scenes thing. Look, it's making me chuckle because it's the most EC3 thing, right? See, Terrence papers off the wall and he's throwing gear away and it's like, oh, I might get copyright. I just realized for the music. I shouldn't have played the music. The music was a bad idea. I might get copyrighted for the music. But there you go. He's going ahead here. Taking some wrestling shots with some dudes. But I mean, all of this looks like the most EC3 stuff ever. I am so stoked. I think we are back. I think wrestling is fully back, baby. I think we're in it. It's the new era. The old era is the new era. I'm so into it. I am really into this. So again, I invite you to join me in this feeling. Don't get angry. Don't get upset. EC3 is coming back, and he is ready to deliver his own particular brand of cringe unto us. Thank you. I didn't know how much I missed this. I didn't know how much I needed this. Our boy is back. Wrestling is back. What more do you want? He's gonna control so many narratives. God, I hope he brings it back. I hope he tries again. I hope he does it'd be the funniest thing. It legitimately would be the funniest thing if he brought it back with Austin Aries on top of that. That would be awesome. Hey, Mr. Antox, nice to see you and welcome. To be fair, that second one is real. He used to wear the cape. Okay, the cape of the pauldron was real. Tyrus has been retired for so long now that he's mainly associated for being on Fox News' Gutfield show than wrestling. I'd completely forgotten about Tyrus, quite honestly. And honestly, if it hadn't been for that final run that he had in the NWA, where he was just absolutely abysmal, I don't think anyone would remember. I think Tyrus would have been a thing of the past regardless. It's just because people started clipping his shit because they couldn't believe how shit he was. Imagine a guy calling himself the Dancesaurus, the Boogiesaurus. What did he used to call himself? Fuck. It was the Boogiesaurus, right? No. But it's something like that. The Groove. What was it called again? What was his fucking nickname? The Funkasaurus. There you go. I mean, did we really expect a guy calling himself the Funkasaurus to be some kind of wrestling genius to begin with? Anyway, we shall let Tyrus continue to enjoy just living in obscurity moving forward. I think some people were upset on Monday when I didn't get around to talking about Blake Monroe. And I'm sorry, but we did talk about a lot of things. And I said I'd talk about it on stream tonight. So we're doing it early to make sure we talk about it. Okay. And we're reading an article here off of the Wrestling Observer Figure 4 Online, because it would appear that Blake Monroe is injured and unhappy after NXT title loss incident. She's both injured and unhappy, folks. So let's read up about this a little bit. New details have now emerged on the botched finish to the NXT Women's North American Championship bout between Blake Monroe and Thea Hale on the December 17 episode of NXT. As per a previous report, the title change was not planned. Monroe had the win knocked out of her after Hale's springboard backwards drop. Springboard backwards drop. You mean a springboard senton? Because that's what she was doing, making her unable to kick out in time. According to Fightful Select's new report, Monroe later claimed that she got injured after that spot. People involved with Monroe's creative were specifically not happy with how things ended and quickly added the decision to have a title rematch, although the report from Fightful Select failed to note the severity of the injury. The previous report noted that the match referee Felix Fernandez received backstage praise for his way of handling the situation. However, sources close to Fightful Select recently noted that there was heat on Fernandez for not shaking on Monroe when she was hurt. The report further claimed that Shawn Michaels, Matt Bloom, and other referees communicated to Fernandez that he had handled things the right way. And now we're getting We're getting a rematch. What is it, next week for the title? And golly gee willikers, I wonder what's going to happen. Gee whiz kids. I wonder what the finish is going to be. I wonder who's walking out with the NXT Women's North American Championship. Golly gee. Well, circling back to this, here's mostly what I want to get at, okay? Excuse me. The fact that she got injured. Well, I mean, when we watched the clip together a couple of weeks ago, and we were watching the clip together and we were breaking it down, we were going all Zapruder film on it. We all came to the conclusion that Thea Hale really landed hard on her. Like I mentioned, if you're doing a senton, usually you'll notice it's always like the upper back of the wrestler that lands on the other wrestler, because it's not as harsh as taking the entire weight of the wrestler falling backwards upon them, which, unprotected, stomach wide open, chest wide open, like that's, I told everyone I understand that Blake Monroe got her bell rung, got the wind knocked out of her, and that she probably couldn't kick out on time because she had to just regain her composure type of thing, right? She just had to catch her breath because she got it knocked out of her because Thea Hale landed on her like a ton of bricks. So I can understand that. I think the move ultimately, Thea Hale ultimately moved her, botched her move. She ultimately botched her move, which completely rattled Blake Monroe. Don't get me wrong. So if there is anything more severe than that, well, that sucks. Clearly it's not that bad because they're planning on moving forward with a title rematch to rectify the situation as quickly as possible, in less than a week from now. So, they clearly want this settled up real fast. They're not going to do anything with, they don't believe in Thea Hale, right? Is she still doing the Joe Hendry thing? If Joe Hendry is now like up on main roster, does she still have the little blue shirt, and she's still doing that with him? Anyway, you want to make something cringier? You throw in Thea Hale. And a happy new year to you too, Conrad. Nice to see you, man, of the EPW Everything Pro Wrestling Show. I don't know why I know the name of the show. Happy new year to you as well, brother. It's good to see you. Now it's just her being her now. Well, okay, so whatever the fuck that was for. And hey, Will Davis is here. Nice to see you, Will. Welcome to the chat. Also, member of the channel on top of that. We got some members. I don't know. We always do. I don't know why I'm shocked. We always have members. But it's nice to see you, Will, and Happy New Year. Okay. So moving along, like regardless of what her injury is like, okay, like whatever the injury is, the report is people are unhappy. And I'm sort of sitting there shrugging, going, well, of course people are unhappy in this situation. Why would anyone be happy? Outside of Thea Hale, it was like, tee. I got me a little title run. I got me a little title win. I got me a historic title win on top of that. A title change on a completely unplanned finish. When's the last time that happened, right? Unplanned and without the audible. Like, this is the thing that's important. This is the thing that's crucial that we all need to remember. Is that unplanned and not like called in the ring. Like, it's different from, let's say, Mox and Ray Phoenix. It's different from Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné for the strong title. Like, those are different because someone got hurt and they called the audible, right? There was no audible called here. It was just Thea Hale landed on top of her. Nothing happened. 1, 2, 3. The referee just called it as a shoot. And it completely fucked the plans. So this, like, Thea Hale is going down in professional wrestling history, which is awesome. Because I think it's funny that Thea Hale is going to have that Thea Hale is going to be a massive part of wrestling trivia for the next 50 years or so. But of course, no one is happy is the point I'm trying to make. Of course, no one is happy. No one is excited at the idea. The people working on Monroe's creative are unhappy. Well, of course they are. They had a plan. Monroe's unhappy because she fucking lost her title. And this sort of continues to add, a little derailment to her push, which quite frankly feels a little cursed since she began in NXT. I feel like that, again, I don't watch NXT, but from everything that I see and mostly read, and it's this is cursed. Her debut in NXT, since she debuted, it's just been cursed upon curse. Oh, you remember when she started and they did the same thing as they did with Ricky Saints, right? It's oh, she is here. You know who she is, because they didn't settle on a name yet. They hadn't figured out the names, or they were oh, well, she is here. All this bullshit. And then they bring her in as a baby face, and then that fucking flops, right? It just completely, just a complete fart in the wind. So they immediately turn her heel, and the heel turn is going so, right? They're trying to do a kind of a callback to the character that she had in AEW, right? This, because of course WWE is the place that, all wrestlers find their footing and their true gimmicks, and then, they rise in WWE, right? They wouldn't use anything from any other promotions they've been in. No, of course not. But they're essentially doing the same thing. And now they're even leaning into it more, right? Doesn't she have a split personality now? Isn't she doesn't she have, she has a split personality disorder, dissociative personality disorder, right? I think that's the term now. They're leaning so hard into all this bullshit now. It's so yeah, of course she's not happy, because she knows whatever they're doing with her in NXT right now is gaining no momentum. No one cares. And now she's dropping the title to fucking Thea Hale, which is, where she's no, this is not good for my image. And no, it is not. It is not. So of course everyone is unhappy. I don't know why everyone will be what kind of report is that? Of course they're unhappy. But I am glad that the ref is not catching any heat. Now, despite the fact that, he caught some heat for not checking on Blake Monroe. I mean, that is what it is, right? I am glad that the ref, didn't catch any heat for not calling this as a shoot, which I legitimately believe referees need to do more. I think that refs in general should be counting the finishes as shoots as opposed to being in on the work. Well, they should know what the finish is. That's not my point, but as opposed to showing that they're in on the work, I guess is what I mean. Because then it's it's up to the wrestlers to fucking do their job and carry this match to the finish. And if something accidental happens, like it did in this match, well, you can't blame the ref. It's it sucks, but the ref was doing his job. He was doing as prescribed, which was to just call it down the middle, call it like a sport. And I'm okay with that. And because there's so many instances where referees do that stuff, and it's embarrassing. I'm trying to think back, Paul Turner did this recently in AEW, right? And I'm trying to forget I'm trying to remember the match. But the guys were pinned, but somehow it wasn't it a speedball match? I think it was a speedball match where Paul didn't think that was, it was speedball and Shelton Benjamin, right? And the guys had called the audible to finish the match because the super kick was so amazing, right? And but Paul didn't hear it. He didn't hear that, this is where we're ending the match. He didn't know the boys had decided to end the match. He didn't hear it. So when they counted, when they were counting, he in his brain was like, wait, this is not the finish. So then he stopped counting at 2 and then slid his hand under Mike Bailey's shoulders, which were clearly pinned. Like there was no there was no doubt in anyone's mind here, right? It was like, he puts his hand under the shoulder and that ended up embarrassing everyone. And because then Bailey and Shelton, they did a couple of more moves and went to the finish, and then ref calls the finish. But there's been multiple instances of this, and it happens all the time. But because I guess the general consensus is that referees know the finish, and you can't call the finish until we reach the finish. But then you get things like that completely remove your suspension of disbelief. It's one of the things that really takes me out of a wrestling match when a referee clearly, botches a count for whatever reason. That's something that, for me, it takes a lot for me to recover and get back into a match. There's a lot of times, they lost me, not completely, but they lost a substantial part of me in this match. Because if Paul Turner had called the 1, 2, 3 on the super kick, that would have been fine. And here's the other thing, that the audience doesn't know what the finish is. So who cares? Who cares if you call the finish there? Like, we don't know what the finish is. So if that's the finish you go like, well, that was the finish. And on top of that, the finish for Shelton and Bailey would have been absolutely fantastic because the kick was remarkable, to the point that Shelton and Bailey were like, let's call it here. It wasn't, there wouldn't have been that big of it wouldn't have been as substantial a problem as Thea Hale beating Blake Monroe, because that wasn't the planned finish at all. Shelton beating Mike Bailey was the plan. And we would have got to the destination regardless. So for your boy here, and again, this is not like a blanket rule where there are always exceptions, and I always reserve the right to say, well, in this circumstance, it would have been better for the opposite to happen. But in general, for me, refs should call it as a shoot. And it's up to the performers to get their shit together. That's all. That's, wrestlers make so fucking sure now to see everything. Like, they're always looking at the referee counting instead of just fucking listening, They're always looking. It's always the tell. This is always how you know the match isn't ending. On this pinfall, because you got the guy or the girl who's being pinned is looking over at the ref, bending their neck backwards to look at the ref, bringing his arm down. Like, fucking hell. You can also listen. They slam their arms hard enough on that canvas. Anyway. I'm glad that the ref is, that management came up to him and said, "You're all right, pal. You did good." But I guess as a final thought here, like I said it myself, okay. So ultimately the report of people are upset. I'm like, what kind of fucking reporting is this? Of course people are upset. No one's going around saying, "Oh, what a great turn of events here." It makes everyone upset. Everyone's in a bad mood. And the people who booked this, who put it all together, they're like, fuck. Now we got to tear up some plans and try something else, you know? But you know what I'd do? You know what I would do? I would give this Thea Hale thing a chance. Look, this is the boat we're riding in now, right? Might as well try out, might as well sail it to this new destination and try it out. And if it doesn't work, well, then we'll go off to the other destination then, like we had planned. Might as well give it a shot, right? And might as well surprise everyone at the same time. Because again, like, look, I frankly, I think that just because we got the report that everyone's unhappy and just because they booked the rematch so quickly, I don't think Thea Hale is retaining the title and we're going to go back to Blake Monroe holding the NXT Women's North American Championship. And I can't believe we're spending all this energy talking about the secondary women's title on fucking NXT, okay? But this is where we are because it's interesting because the mechanics here are interesting at the very least. I would 100% keep the title on Thea Hale. Have her beat Blake Monroe. I would even have her beat Blake Monroe with the same fucking move, the same springboard senton, and beat her again. And then slowly you develop Thea Hale having the most killer finisher in all of NXT. Where if she lands that, you're absolute toast. You know, it's like it's the fucking one-winged angel. You know, no one gets up out of no one gets up. It's like fucking Baron Corbin's. What was his? The End of Days. Turn it into a super duper protected finisher. Have some fun. You were dealt these cards. Have some fun with it. Do something unexpected. Something that might actually get over with the audience because they understand what's going on. And they're like, okay, this is cool because creative is taking some chances. And we're going to get behind this Thea Hale for at least a little while. But you give her a couple of defenses where she's just ending fools with these with the springboard senton gimmick. But knowing how WWE operates, not just WWE, American pro wrestling in 2026 now in general, it operates on plans and you don't deviate from the plans. You know, both AEW and WWE are guilty of doing that. So they're not going to deviate from the plan. Particularly WWE and particularly in NXT, particularly Shawn Michaels. Chef Shawn, look, Chef Shawn Michaels, he likes to cook, but Jesus Christ, he follows his recipe to a T. If it says half a teaspoon of oregano, he's not going to put a full teaspoon because that might be adding a little too much flavor. He's going to follow that. Oh my goodness. We're not going to try and personalize this too much, but try to give it some kind of pizzazz. No. That's what I do. I play with the cards you've been dealt with. Have some fucking fun. Have a little fun with this. And if they keep the title, I swear to God, if they keep the title on Thea Hale next week, and they keep the title on her after she beats Blake Monroe again with the springboard senton on the stream next Thursday, I will take such a victory lap. I will take such a fucking massive victory lap. Trust me. Anyway, that's essentially it. And I mean, look, I don't know what else to add here. I think everyone is pretty much in agreement that Blake Monroe in NXT is absolutely snake bitten and not good, and it's not going well, and it's whatever. And that Tony Storm was probably right, and she doesn't have the personality people thought that she had to pull off the things that they want her to pull off. I think a lot of people may have overshot how good the former Mariah May was going to be at this. And I mean, listen, if WWE can't put her over, there's legitimately a problem. Anyway, maybe maybe she'll save WWE. Maybe she'll be Paul Levesque's next great discovery. Who knows? Pedro the Fifth, nice to see you, and welcome to the chat. And meanwhile, Jordan Grace is in the corner. What a fucking disaster. Did I ever tell you my theory about why Jordan Grace is not on the main roster yet? Have I told you my theory? I think there's a lot of people who have the same theory as me, but it's not anything. But I legitimately believe that she's not on the main roster yet because she's too muscular. Because she has too much muscle definition for a lady. You know, you'll notice women in WWE, aren't necessarily super duper cut, Jordan Grace stands out because of how built she is, right? And I think main roster wants her to be a little softer. That would be my guess. I think there may be things where they look at her and they say, maybe she's a little too masculine. Personally, I want to make this clear. I don't care. I've loved Jordan Grace throughout all of the phases of her career. I think she's always been great. Even back when she was earlier and did not look like she looks like today at all, to when she started to cut weight, to, now bodybuilder Jordan Grace. I think she's been phenomenal. She's a phenomenal pro wrestler. So, whatever look she wants to sport is completely fine by me. Just talking about WWE. And when you consider the type of people that WWE hang around and how, those people that WWE likes to hang around, these people like to, promote certain roles for, certain roles for women and how women should present themselves and how they should look. I'm not saying that they're getting directives from the fucking White House in regards to Jordan Grace. I would sure as hell hope not. But I would say that kind of mentality trickles down, right? And maybe they're just like, yeah, you know what? Maybe a little too masculine. That's all I'm. Yeah, that's my theory. It sure seems like WWE has a lot of people on the roster that they just don't believe in. Yeah, I guess, yes. Until it's convenient for them to until they say, oh, well, now we're going to try something out, You think they don't believe in naked Austin Theory? They're really going to try with Austin Theory, right? They're really going to fucking try. It's amazing. A guy who's a complete zilch. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Blake Monroe, yeah, split personality. The glamour, regular her, with the woman from hell, vindictive, decisive, violent her. I mean, she was already doing that in AEW, but you didn't need this fucking ham-fisted, it's like, look into the camera with a nice smiling face and then turn your head around and then look into the camera with an angry face type of thing. You didn't need that. It wasn't that ham-fisted. Then again, WWE fans are a little slow on the uptake. To be fair, how often in women wrestling in modern wrestling, do wrestlers ever call completely rewrites the finish without it involving injury? People are so rigid to a script. No. I agree. The thing here, okay, so the example that I used with Speedball and the example that I had with Speedball and Shelton was, look, we're getting the same result ultimately, right? Speedball is going to lose the match. Shelton's going over. We're just going to call the match like maybe one move sequence early, because what a cool finish we just hit. These are two guys who are professionals, who have done this before, unquestionably, multiple times in their careers, where they just have the best possible finish in ring. They're like, now we'll call it here. And the reason why it didn't go through is because Paul Turner stuck to the script instead of calling it like a shoot. That's ultimately the point I was making, right? It's, if you're reaching the same outcome, but you're like, look at see, these guys are in the ring, and Shelton hits, wasn't it a boot? It was a big boot, if I remember correctly. It was either a boot or a lariat, but I want to feel like it was a kick. Shelton hits the kick. Bailey sells it like death, right? And I remember the Bailey sell where I was like, oh shit, okay, he's dead. Crowd is up on their feet at the move, right? They love it. Perfect way to finish the match. You've got 15 seconds more? You've got 30 seconds more in the match where you just have to land a couple of more moves. It's fine. Just finish the match like this. Bailey calls it. Shelton gave the okay. Paul Turner didn't hear it. So Paul Turner's like, this isn't the finish. So, it sucks because Paul Turner is told, stick to the finish, stick to the script ultimately. And that's what he does. So he did his job, but it ended up ruining the moment, a purely organic moment. And that's what we're missing in pro wrestling, right? More and more organic moments that just happen. And I'm not saying botches. Just moments that feel like this is the peak. This is the moment that you should be ending the match. Look, it's like FTR and the Bang Bang Gang this weekend at World's End. I thought they should have finished the match with Juice scrambling to get out of the leg lock that Dax had on him, right? We were maybe like 15 minutes in. That's where they should have ended the match, because people were up on their feet. They were cheering. They were excited. And it was a good dramatic finish, but no, it's not where it ended. And we added like 5-6 minutes more of the match where it's like, ugh. But if the guys had been like, I don't know, why don't we call it here? I think it would have been for the best. And you still get the same result, and no one looks like a dope, right? Plus, it would have benefited the match, honestly. I had a plan, Arthur. NXT, I had a plan, Arthur. Wait, more reference. Boris, nice to see you and welcome. I thought Trips loved his muscle mommies. Maybe he doesn't like them when they're bigger than him. Hey-oh! Too masculine, the same WWE that has Rhea Ripley, Jade Cargill, and Jada Parker on the main roster, but she's too muscular. Okay, Rhea Ripley, absolutely not as cut as Jordan. Absolutely not. I think Jade works because she's tall. Jade has an issue. Well, an issue. The physical problematic that she runs into is that she's shorter than a lot of them. So I think maybe it stands out too much. It stands out more because yes, Jordan Grace is more muscular because she is a bodybuilder. That's what she's done for that's what she's been doing for a bit. So she's physically working on making her body look as muscular and vascular as possible. Whereas, yeah, Rhea Ripley, big, strong lady. She takes her Instagram posts where she shows off her abs and whatnot. But they're able to sexualize her nonetheless. And that's what they've been doing. So maybe they feel it's a little too much with Jordan because they can't make her sexy, or ergo too masculine. I don't know. I still think that's the thing. Evan, nice to see you. Welcome to the chat, brother. Happy New Year to you too as well. FTR match goes to breaking news, guys. FTR match goes too long now. Come on here. FTR in their heads probably didn't want to do the same finish they did on TV. They did on TV on pay-per-view, probably, but that's also to their credit. I just thought the match went too long. And yes, Shelton did win with the same move after they redid it essentially. But you know, it is what it is. Warren Hayes, that's me. Did you watch the NXT Japan New Year show this morning featuring Slap Daddy and Nomura versus Ozawa? If so, where can I see the review? I have not watched it yet. It was not necessarily in my, on my radar, but my circles are completely baffled by it. They are extremely upset about this match, so I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it now. Apparently, Inamura, Inamura went off to do an excursion in NXT, comes back to Noah and acts like a cartoon of a pro wrestler now. I'm so excited. I'm very excited to see that. I'm super excited to see it. Very excited to watch it. Show was asked, don't watch it besides Hiromu versus Amakusa. Hiromu versus Amakusa was probably very good. That's something I would watch, but I'm no big issue. No big surprise there. Did you hear that the surprise man that was going to be Bushi's tag team partner was Tetsuya Naito? Wow. Holy what? Did you hear? Oh? I actually have that on the docket, but we'll see if we get to it. It's already 9. It's already 5 minutes to 9. And like the main thing I wanted to talk about, we haven't talked about it yet. In pure Warren Hayes fashion, I get sidetracked with all of the itty bitty nonsense that I'm like, oh, this will be fun for a couple of minutes, and then I spend like an hour on the garbage before getting to the real things. Big Man Dogs, nice to see you, and welcome to the chat. Very boring match, not even funny bad. Not even Ozawa could save this? It's 2 hours past your bedtime. What the fuck do you mean, dogged? Hey, brother. Hey, come on now. New Year, same old Warren. Why would I want to change? Why would I want to change? It is everyone else who should change for me. There is no reason for me to change. Why would you not get the same old Warren? It got me this far. Oh, all right. Ozawa was a major part of the problem on top of that. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Should I watch it? I'm sort of wondering now, but I probably will. I probably will because it sounds, it feels like a seminal match, but for the wrong reasons. Anyway, take a sip if you haven't left take a sip if you left a like on the stream. If you haven't, don't take a sip. Okay, that's how it goes. I like having conversational reasons. I like to have reasons to speak with people. On the floor over here. What's that? What's on the... Oh, it's my water bottle. I was like, I saw this little bit here, this thing here. And I was like, what's on the floor? I hadn't seen it before. And I was thinking it might have been one of my dog's toys, right? Because we got her a fox for Christmas. So it kind of looked like it's the same type of orange. I was like, and then I'm looking down at the floor and there's nothing, and I'm looking at the camera and I'm seeing this. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? What's going on? Oh. I am not watching a Good Brothers match in 2026, fellas. I'm sorry to say. Yeah, I'm not watching. I'm not watching Suntan Biker Man and Machine Gunka go at it. Nope, that's it. I have removed. I have excised that growth from my wrestling viewership. We're good with that. Something that I just remembered, that criminal Nasawa Rang guy launched a GHC Joshi Championship, and that thing was nowhere to be seen on the biggest show of the year. I was going to ask. Just the fact that Nasawa is still the guy is ridiculous. Still the guy booking. Preposterous. Who is it? Oh shit. Who was the Noah Joshi champion? Takumi Roha. Okay. Well, I mean, it's not a bad choice, you know. As far, you know, that's you know, it's not bad. She's pretty good. She's fine. 200 day plus career, not career, but 210 plus day reign, and has 4 defenses. Nowhere to be seen on the biggest show of the year. She's wrestling Mayu Iwatani at the Diddy Gold show coming up. Hey, you know, I thought it was really funny when I watched Dynamite, and they did the thing where, you know, the backstage segment where Orange Cassidy, where Tony Storm is flirting it up with Orange Cassidy. I know it's not flirting; it's not really that. Okay, bear with me here. But she's doing the Tony Storm thing to Orange Cassidy, and Mina Shirakawa. Jeez, I'm drawing blanks here. Mina shows up and she tells him, "Take your hand out of your pocket." And my instant reaction was to say, "Hey, that's not Rossi Ogawa." But I couldn't help. How many times has she told that to Rossi and Rossi's associates in the past, or would have liked to say that? Anywho, let's let's talk about let's preview the old Wrestle Kingdom 20 show, which is happening this weekend. This weekend on January 4th, 2026 at the Tokyo Dome. Of course, we all talked about it. It is the thing. It is a legitimate sellout. There are no more tickets available for this show. I think everyone is expecting like 50,000 people to be in the building for Hiroshi Tanahashi's final match. Because look, there is nothing else that is putting the proverbial butts in seats here. I think we're all agreeing here that this is the big one. That's the match that's getting everyone into the building. You know, it ain't a 4-way to determine the number 1 contender for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. No disrespect, but that's not what's putting the asses in the seats here. It is impressive. I don't think anyone can deny that. It is going to be, it's a tremendous feat that they're doing here by getting so many people, by selling out the Tokyo Dome, getting this being the biggest drawing Wrestle Kingdom in the history of the event. And it's even to the point that they're getting actual television network time for this as well, right? Because of Aaron Wolf, who is a crossover star. I think we've talked about it enough. Talked about him enough. The Olympian judoka. Everyone knows who he is in Japan, so they're leaning on that as well. And it's creating these dividends right out the gate, where it's like, probably thanks to the fact that everyone knows, he probably knows, everyone knows who this guy is, and he's a bit of a national hero, and that's probably what's helping New Japan get on television for the first time in how fucking long, right? In decades at this point, to be on like actual broadcast television. So, they're really leaning into Hiroshi Tanahashi's retirement. It's going to be it's already like, it's going to be the first big huge event of the year, and it'll probably be one of the biggest events of the year moving forward. It's going to be hard pressed to find things that draw as much. But I don't think anyone with their head screwed on right, let's put it that way, is thinking that this is finally like the big turnaround for New Japan, right? This is going to end up, I would argue, and I'm not, it's not that I have a crystal ball or anything, but I'd argue that this Wrestle Kingdom attendance is going to be an anomaly moving forward. When we look back at the trends in a couple of years, we're going to see, all of the attendance numbers that they had for Wrestle Kingdoms, particularly since the pandemic, all being, good, but not reaching the highs that they had pre-pandemic. And then we're going to see the spike, and then everything's going to fall back down to, fall back down to where they were. And I say hopefully. I'm not super convinced that they're going to go all the way back to what they were. I think it's fair to be a little concerned that ultimately the numbers might actually be a little lower in a post-Tanahashi world, because there are no stars in this company. Unless Aaron Wolf is revealed to be like this fucking charismatic bomb, and this, this guy who has taken to pro wrestling, a la Kurt Angle, where you're just like, whoa, and you're just like sitting there and your head is spinning at how great a revelation this dude is. I don't see how New Japan for Wrestle Kingdom 21 will not reach the heights of Wrestle Kingdom 20. I think that's unreasonably high as an expectation goes. I don't even think that there's a good argument to say that they will reach the highs of Wrestle Kingdom 19. All of the people that have been persistent draws for this company are all gone. I feel like a fucking broken record every time we talk about this, but everyone is gone. The last two people that they had in 2025 were Hiroshi Tanahashi and Tetsuya Naito, and Tetsuya Naito hit the bricks. Now he's a tag team champion for, Pro Wrestling Noah. The only guy they had left was Hiroshi Tanahashi. And boy, oh boy, did they lean into that this year. They leaned into Hiroshi Tanahashi's last G1, his last appearance in all of the prefectures. I don't know why I can't think of a single one. I can't think of a single one. But last time in this town and that town and so on and so forth in this arena, and they leaned into that so hard this year. And even with that, even with the promise that you were seeing Hiroshi Tanahashi for the last time in this and that, and having final matches with this guy and that guy, he didn't draw like mind-blowing numbers either. The fact that he's drawing 50,000 people into the Tokyo Dome excuses a lot of what happened throughout 2025 as far as drawing goes. Then if he had done a middling number or like a typical Wrestle Kingdom, a new, a 24,000, 26,000 house, then you're like, then you might be like, oh, well, that's a bit of a stain on his, his certified Hall of Fame record type of thing, his case. This isn't all that impressive. But no. Like, you can excuse the as far as his legacy goes, this is undeniable. One last night, that's what was attracting people. It's the fact that it's one last final night, and maybe against the fact that it's against Kazuchika Okada, who is a generational rival of his, whose histories are very, very tightly intertwined. Maybe that was even just a little extra boost, right? Some lapsed New Japan fans are, they look at this and they're like, hey, you know what? It's Tana one last time, and they brought back Okada for this. Come on, we gotta go. We gotta rent a place in Tokyo, in downtown Tokyo. We gotta go to this, right? I'm just saying, like, it's entirely plausible to me that this situation also helped out a little bit, but you cannot deny that Tanahashi's final night is what people were attracted to, as opposed to his farewell tour all year, which seemed to have just gotten long in the tooth, and people were not all that excited about it, but they're excited about his final goodbye, his final bow, whatever. And I think that's tremendous. Like, I legitimately think it's excellent news. So where was I going with this? So the idea ultimately is that they're banking they've banked so hard on this. There is that despite it all, this has been the theme of New Japan for the easily, I'd say, since the pandemic release, since we escaped the pandemic, since we started talking about the Reiwa 3, which seems archaic at this point, considering the career trajectory of two of them. Ever since we started talking about the Reiwa 3, we've been anxiously awaiting New Japan to create the new guys, the new generation that was going to come in and take over, right? Because even without knowing that Will Ospreay and Kazuchika Okada were going to be leaving for AEW, we could all see the writing on the wall. Hiroshi Tanahashi is going to be retiring. Tetsuya Naito's knees are giving out. Yes, there's the two other guys, but you also need a rogues gallery to sort of support these two other guys. And they never, even when their backs were against the wall, they being New Japan, even when their backs were against the fucking wall, they still could not decide to say, hey, this guy, that guy, those are our two top guys, and we are rocket strapping them, and we are pushing them to the moon. They couldn't even come up with anyone to do that with, to truly carry this company into a new era, one that is past the golden years of the 2010s where these guys are either unable to do what they used to do now or are just gone or are retiring. And you would have thought that on a Wrestle Kingdom card, right? On a Wrestle Kingdom card where you will have the biggest attendance in recent history for the company, and will also be benefiting from a portion of the show being broadcast live on broadcast television, you would assume that they would have put their best foot forward and say, here are the guys that will lead the charge for the future. Yeah, we've got Aaron Wolf, sure. But here is Shota Umino, here's Yuya Uemura, here's Ryohei Oiwa. And look at our juniors. Look at these two guys here, these two masked dudes. This El Desperado and this Doki. Look at these two dudes. They'll do some crazy ass shit on this card for you. And you're going to see everything we have to offer. Oh, and by the way, we have some of the biggest, best women's wrestlers in the world. Here's a couple of them here. But that's not what they're doing. They loaded up this card with a lot of nonsense. They're loading this card up with a lot of junk. A lot of people who might not even be there, after the first fiscal quarter of 2026. You'd think they would book all of the new guys that they put so much hope in, that they told us to put our hope in, and tell each of these fucking guys in each of their singles matches, no tag teams, no trios, singles matches, and they tell them all, go out there, steal the show. That is the cue you give Shota Umino, Yuya Uemura, Ryohei Oiwa. That's what you tell, and even fucking Bolton Oleg. Keep forgetting that guy. Because those guys are sticking around. Just go for it. No one is excited at the prospect of Andrade in New Japan. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit that he's in an 8-man tag team match? Who fucking cares? With the Bullet Club War Dogs. Hey, most of those guys are going to be gone. That's what they should be doing. That's what they should be telling all of these guys. Go out there. You are the future. This is your platform. This is going to be very likely one of the biggest houses in front of which you are going to perform. Make your career tonight. Go out there, steal the show. I don't care if you are 5th from the top or if you're 2nd from the top. You are going out there and you are stealing the fucking show. But no, we're getting 4-ways. We're getting 8-man tags. We're getting the fucking Rambo on the fucking main card. I'm sorry, do I sound a little down on this card? Yeah, because I kind of am. I kind of am. This is not a Wrestle Kingdom card to begin with. This is it's a King of Pro Wrestling card. A Wrestle Kingdom card from top to bottom should have you salivating, should have you excited. You should be like holding on to your desk or your armchair, Going, yes, let's fucking go. Even the main event of their championship, even the main event of their championship. Listen to this guy. Even the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. One half of the, and look, I am a huge Kensuke Takeshita guy. I love Kensuke Takeshita. He had a tremendous 2025. Anyway, we'll have that discussion maybe next week in regards to, wrestler awards and all that. But Takeshita had a tremendous year, and I love the guy. He's one of my favorite pro wrestlers on earth. He's one of the best pro wrestlers on earth right now. But this is also a guy who doesn't have a connection with New Japan fans. We've been over this multiple times. They don't feel it. They see him as an outsider. They see him as the interloper. New Japan tried to book him as a babyface. It just didn't work out. Why? Because I think New Japan fans want New Japan guys. They want people who will be truly loyal to the Lion Mark. I think that's what they want. And you can see how they reacted to Gabe Kidd at the start of the year. When Gabe Kidd suddenly became Mr. New Japan, and boy, oh boy, that elevated his stock. But then, after a while, sort of realized that they're not doing anything with him, which is that's the usual thing with New Japan, right? You get something real, real hot, and then you stop. You don't do anything with your hot commodity, and then you just let things drift away. Now, I don't think Gabe Kidd makes it. I don't think Gabe Kidd is destined to stick around New Japan very much longer. I really don't. Keep telling y'all, he's cutting weight. He's cut so much weight that the Gabe Kidd at the end of 2025 looks nothing like the Gabe Kidd at the start of 2025. And there's a reason for that. It's it's how I feel about the card right now. And that's what's going to carry me into the show, right? And it makes me upset. It makes me upset that, one of the things that systematically I look forward the most at the new year, which is a Wrestle Kingdom card this year, has me more frustrated than anything else. Has me more frustrated that it appears that we're going to that everyone seems to see the issues with New Japan's booking except New Japan themselves. And they all seem to be very complacent. They all seem to be very complacent in how things are going because there is nothing challenging or interesting, really interesting that you can sink your teeth into on this card. I'm going to echo Joe Lanza here because I am complete agreement with Joe when he plopped out this analysis a couple of months ago. He's been on this for a while, and I am in complete agreement with him. This New Japan card, this Wrestle Kingdom card, Wrestle Kingdom 20, once we're done with it and we're sitting around analyzing it, me in front of a microphone, all of us like on Blue Sky or Twitter, get off of Twitter, by the way, or on Discords, and we're all chatting about the show. The last thing all of us need to be talking about is Hiroshi Tanahashi's match. We should all be talking about what else is happening on the card. Who do we feel came out the best and so on and so forth? What are the matches that from the new guys, from the next generation that blew our minds and so on and so forth? Joe was talking about this months ago before the full card was announced. And his point being is that if all we have to talk about is Hiroshi Tanahashi's final match, New Japan has failed. It's just as simple as that. Because we should be talking about all of the new guys and how great they are, how great they look, how new stars were created, how excellent this match was, and so on and so forth. That's what we should be talking about. But I'm afraid, again, Joe was talking about this before the card was announced. Now that the card is announced, you look at this and you're like, what are we going to be talking about outside of Okada versus Tanahashi? Aaron Wolf for sure. We're either going to be praising it, or we're going to be we're going to be very very soft on it. We're going to be very upset about it. It's either or, right? There's nothing on this card that has you excited for the future of the company. I'm sorry. And yes, Takeshita and Tsuji, I'm looking forward to it. But Tsuji is probably going to win. Takeshita's not leaving AEW to come to New Japan full time. He's heading back home. He's going to have more business to settle up with AEW and Kazuchika Okada and the Don Callis family. He's making better money in AEW than he is with New Japan. So no, he's not abandoning anything, and he's getting pushed. So he's not a consideration for the future of New Japan. Evil is evil. Aaron Wolf is he's the mystery. He's the one thing that everyone is, this shit is going to be scrutinized. This is going to be a microscope style match. But then everything else is four ways and multi-mans, and Shuri and Saya has the potential to be a blast, to be very good. But again, these women, even though the IWGP title is on the line and the strong women's title, but who cares about that? Even though IWGP is connected to New Japan, they are not part of New Japan Pro Wrestling proper. These are Stardom wrestlers. So they're not even part of the fabric of New Japan, right? So again, don't get me wrong. I love the idea of them being on the card and Saya Kamitani being in front of 50,000 people in the dome so that everyone can see how fucking awesome she is. I'm completely on board with that. But everything else, it's a disaster. For a company that should be in tune towards the future, this is a disastrous card. Anyway, let's go. Before I continue, I think this is a good moment to go take a look at chat and see what chat is talking about. And also for me to take a sip. We can praise the tickets they've sold and scrutinize them for not putting the greatest foot forward with those tickets out. We are a smart and nuanced community. Yeah, we should be. We should be able to do this here on the Mr. Warren Hayes Show. And that's the kind of community I like to think I've cultivated. I mean, it is not a good card. I don't know what to tell. It's not a good card. Aaron Wolf doesn't actually seem to that good based on his performances in these angles, but I'm going to ironically support him. I have had mega reservations regarding Aaron Wolf from what I think it was. I don't remember exactly the show, but there's one that he showed up and he threw some guys around, right? He did some judo throws and he chased off the House of Torture and he just stood there in the ring. And I was like, okay, I don't think he has the charisma bit down yet. Of course, the guy should be able to do judo throws. Am I right? So they look good. I don't have a problem with that. But then after, he's just standing there, right? Very, very robot-like. And And like in my little group chats, I posted, I'm like, I'm not so sure about his charisma. And I got some blowback immediately. I got some people going, well, I don't think we should be judging him just after. I said, I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I'm telling you what I saw. What I saw was like, and then he's had a couple of more appearances and it's kind of more of the same. I'm trying to stay as open-minded and positive as possible, but I'm not expecting some kind of incredible revelation from Aaron Wolf in a couple of days. That's where I'm at right now. I think this Wrestle Kingdom 20 show, they need to get fans invested in the product in the future. Here are the Three Musketeers. Yeah, I agree. Like but they're not doing that. I am 100% in agreement. That's what they should have done. That's not what they are doing. Rory Starks, nice to see you. Welcome to the chat. The more you talk, the more I realize just how ass this card is. I'm sorry. But I say I'm sorry, but I mean, I'm calling it as I see it, and it's not great. Like this is not a Wrestle card. This is not a Wrestle Kingdom card. It's not a Wrestle Kingdom card. I'm sorry to say it's not. Are the Knockout Brothers actually leaving because the hell leave one of your most marketable young guys off the card? No, they aren't. They're not going to be on this card, but they have them booked for New Year's Dash, right? I mean, this is one of the. Actually, no. The Knockout Bros are going to be in the 6-man tag, right? They're in the 6-man tag. I don't think they're leaving. I don't think they're leaving. And if so, Oscar is in big trouble because I think Yuto Ice will be fine. But I really don't. I don't see them leaving. I just think this is a product of bad booking. This is just bad booking. Because yes, you should be putting Yuto Ice front and center, and not squirreling over onto New Year's Dash or whatever. War Dogs being gone like gone. Listen, I've heard a lot of stuff. And look, at this time of year, you always hear about the Gaijin and their contracts being up. That's just how it goes. Every fucking year, it's clockwork, and it gets reported. But it's the same thing every year. The Gaijin in New Japan, they contact the dirt sheets, and they say, "Hey, by the way, my contract is up." Like at the end of January or at the start of February, or whatever the fuck, or on January 1st, depending on the case. And I'm exploring options elsewhere. And like clockwork, it happens every year. But this year, I really do think there's at least 2 guys who are going to be gone. And my money is on Dave Finlay and Gabe Kidd. I think they will find secure places to go work. I think a guy like Clark Connors would love to work in the US. I don't know who wants him. He may have an in with AEW, but I don't think Tekla has that kind of pull yet to be able to get Tony to hire whoever she wants. I don't think she has that kind of pull yet. We'll see how things go, but yeah, I mean, quite frankly, it's not a good time of year to be. It hasn't been a good period, not just time of year. It hasn't been a good period to be a Gaijin in New Japan. Mostly, there's the booking, there's how things are being booked and whatnot, but also mostly due to salary and money. New Japan is economically not in a great spot. They've been much stronger than they have in the past. And then you are a non-native Japanese guy and you see the kind of salaries that are going around in the US. Well, you're kind of like, yeah, you know what? We could, Jeff Cobb got gobbled up for a really big payday, why couldn't I type of thing. Tsuji versus Takeshita should stamp Tsuji. This will entirely be on Yota Tsuji. We'll see what kind of Yota Tsuji we get. I have been up and down in my relationship with Yota Tsuji, but right now I'm in a high. Or at least it's pointing upward, because I find that ever since the G1, probably since he's known he was going to be in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom, I find Tsuji has been particularly good. To me, he's been very uneven. Remember, I said like for a while, I think he's a vibes guy. I think that's what his career is. He's going to be a vibes guy more than anything else. Now I'm like, oh, well, why not get the vibes and also the work? Why not both? Warren, are you implying Gabe lost weight because he wants to go to AEW? Yes. 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 Look, he's not cutting weight because Gato asked him to. And I'm not saying AEW asked him to do that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that this is a guy who's smart enough to know what gets over. And if he wants to go work for an American company, I think he knows what he has to do. I don't think him cutting weight is a mistake. I don't think it's something that he's just like suddenly, he's doing the keto diet because he wants to lose, 30 pounds or whatever the fuck. I think this is deliberate. Gabe is slimming up to be the next Moxley. Moxley, once it becomes time to kick out Moxley. Man, it will never be time to kick out John Moxley. If there's one thing, listen, you motherfuckers, if there's one thing that this weekend, this past Continental Classic and this weekend, if there's one thing that we should have all learned and that is to never, ever bet against John Moxley. Ever. And I never jumped on this train of people saying Moxley is washed and all this bullshit. I even pushed back against it. I'm a guy who's always been being strong, very, very high on Moxley. Always. And he is always the guy who ends up delivering. He comes out of the woodwork, comes off the bench and scores the big points. Takes the team home. Don't you ever fucking dare. Don't you ever fucking dare ever again bet against John Moxley. Reject Forbidden Door, except Grand Slam Japan. 100% for that. Makes tons of sense for me. And Grand Slam Japan, run it in Cork and Hall. Rabid fan base of smarts. Just go. I completely agree. Evil is actually evil, turns out. Yeah. I think the real story of 2026 Puro will be to which extent the gap between New Japan and promotions like Noah and Stardom may close. Obviously not saying New Japan will lose the number one spot. I think that's a good analysis moving forward. I think that'll be interesting to see because look, Stardom has been doing extraordinary business. They have been they've been doing the best business of the history of the company. In my review of Dream Queendom, I pointed out that the only company that drew more than Dream Queendom or Stardom this year in Ryogoku Sumo Hall was New Japan, and they only did so by about 100 people. Like the attendance gap between the two was extremely slim. And I mean, they've been filling out Korakuen legitimately, right? Like legitimate sellouts, standing room only. Whereas I don't think New Japan has done that much. I'm just saying. I mean, you're putting that out and saying, oh, well, New Japan might not lose its spot as number one. Well, sister promotion, Stardom, is doing excellent work, booking new, fresh, exciting faces with new angles and just making the promotion feel dynamic and exciting. And somehow, magically, business is improving. Wow, what a concept. If New Japan gets their act together, they'll be fine. I wonder what New Japan does with its profits from Forbidden Door or Wrestle Dynasty. Keeps the lights on. They probably pay for flights and stuff like that. Like I wouldn't think they make all that much money. Invested into Bushiroad crypto. Oh my Lord. Kristen Ashley, nice to see you, darling. Welcome to the chat. Also a member of the channel. Hello. Aaron Wolf cannot be... Johnny, nice to see you and welcome. Aaron Wolf cannot be worse than that goof Gable Steveson. Fingers crossed, brother. Because they've got the same kind of... they've got the same kind of presence, if you ask me. Like the same kind of, charisma presence. I'm not saying they're the same type of wrestler, but, Warren, Security Knights, Knox, nice to see you. Warren Ascard Whisperer Hayes, that's me. Tekla might have Ring of Honor tryout poll. Well, Clark Connors has been on AEW programming before. So let's go over this ass card. Let's go over this card. I don't like there's. It'll be fairly quick because I think like I just summarized my entire thoughts on the card. So the main event, of course, as you know, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kazuchika Okada. This will be Tanahashi's singles match. I don't know. My expectation is that this match is going to be great, and I think Okada is going to do everything in his power to make this a memorable, legendary match for Tanahashi. And Tanahashi is going to dig so fucking deep and do things that he's not supposed to do, that even if he has to stay flat on his back for the next 3 months, he will do it. Because he's one of these guys who he loves this business so much. He just loves pro wrestling so much. Don't forget, this is the guy who was ugly crying at Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd 1 year ago, right? Because he thought it was a beautiful wrestling match. So he's going to be crying. He's going to be like, the only thing we can truly predict with certainty is that Hiroshi Tanahashi is going to be crying like a baby, and I'm going to be crying like a baby. You're going to be crying. Everyone's going to be crying. It's going to be an extremely emotional moment. It's going to be fantastic. And we can only hope that the match will be a lot of fun. It will be a good match. And I think it is fair to have an expectation that it will be great. I think having the expectation that this match will be great is fair, despite the fact that Tanahashi can't go anymore. I think he's going to dig so fucking deep, and he's going to do things that are going to floor us. Or he should not be doing this. He should not be this good. That's kind of what I expect my analysis to be. Or I'll be sitting here saying he had no reason to be this good. We haven't seen him be this great, and so on and so forth. And Okada's going to be a big part of it. He's just going to drag it all out of him. And he's the perfect opponent. I've made my peace with the Nakamura stuff, and he is the perfect opponent. Pound for pound, I don't think Nakamura would have been able to do a better job than Okada in this situation. I sincerely believe that. Now, Konosuke Takeshita will be defending it's a winner takes all match, right? I'm saying it's a unification match, but Have they said that it was a unification match? I don't think they said that it's a unification match, or did they? I'm so confused because sometimes it's like, English commentary will say stuff. Let's go see New Japan Pro Wrestling 1972.com, and we'll pull up the old preview here. Is this the preview? No. Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega will be guests at the Tanahashi ceremony. Wrestle Kingdom Rewind. No, that's not it. Oh, there we go. Okay, I got it here. So, yeah, then the article starts off by saying, sold out. And it's like tickets on sale for New Year's Dash. It's like, don't bother showing up at the building. There's no walk-up business to be had. Okay, IWGP Global and IWGP World Heavyweight double title match. Okay, that's what they're billing it as. Double championship. They are not talking about unification. So there's no talk about unification. We're talking about a double, it's a winner takes all match, essentially. I mean, they should just get rid of the global title. I mean, New Japan in its history of secondary titles, am I right? I don't know. I don't know what they should do. Yeah, I mean, look, this match should be awesome. It should be incredible, and it should be a crowning moment for Yota Tsuji. This should be a match, kind of to the point that I was making earlier. This is a match that when it's done, we should all be sitting around saying, Yota Tsuji's the guy. He has always been the guy. We were blind to it. We just never saw it or whatever. But Yota Tsuji is 100% the guy. This has to be the talking point coming out of it. We have to have like a revelatory match. We have to have a match that between him and Takeshita that ends with everyone just losing their minds over how great Yota Tsuji has been and how clearly he is the guy to carry the company moving forward. Because look, if this is a match that ends up on TV, which it probably will, right? He's a good-looking fellow. He's tall. Tall. I'm taller than him. But he's tall nonetheless. He's a good-looking guy, very charismatic, pops out on the screen. So yeah, we should absolutely lean into it, right? I think this is what I'm hoping. And I think to have an expectation of this being a great match is excellent. Now, there's one thing I want to pull up here, and it's this little bit where Yota Tsuji gave an interview on New Japan, NJPW1972.com. And he had a few things to say about New Japan and All Elite Wrestling that got some people upset. Because of course, let me read the thing, and this has been translated by NJPW1972.com, aka Chris Charlton. This is what Yota Tsuji says about New Japan and potentially cutting ties with All Elite Wrestling. Quote, "Well, I don't want to lose to AEW. I don't like AEW. In all honesty, with the relationship between us the way it is, I'd like us to cut ties with them. What has being with AEW done for New Japan, really? If it was an even-handed relationship, that's one thing, but it's not. There's certainly a difference in terms of the money behind each company, but I don't see that as a reason to be so weak-willed. This is New Japan Pro Wrestling, damn it. Now, on the other hand, Kazuchika Okada has played a part in selling the Tokyo Dome out. I have to admit that. I'm sore that it isn't a New Japan wrestler faying Tanahashi in his last match, but there isn't anybody on the roster that has the connections to Tanahashi that Okada has, and I have to acknowledge that. I could probably spend another hour talking about this, but I'm going to try and keep it as concise as possible. There is a legitimate feeling among the hardcore New Japan fans that the relationship that New Japan has with AEW is very one-sided, not very well balanced, and that AEW holds all the cards. And there's a lot of fans that are sore about that. Trust me. A lot of fans are extremely sore about that. Personally, I can see it, but on the other hand, I don't give a shit. I don't care. Because typically speaking, in any of these relationships that have existed between promotions in the history of professional wrestling, the company that has the upper hand as far as money goes, specifically money, media presence and so on and so forth, they will typically have the upper hand, and the other promotion will acquiesce a lot more because they don't have anything, they don't have the leverage, right? New Japan clearly sees working with AEW as a potential, as a way to to maintain their presence in North America that AEW took away from them once AEW became AEW, and then fans looking for an alternative left watching New Japan to watch AEW instead, but also as a potential revenue source to come into these markets and do some things and get a little kickback along the way. So so those are essentially that's how it is. Okay, the fans don't like it. Warren Hayes doesn't give a shit. Like that's how it goes. I have a problem when New Japan fans blame Tony Khan for all the ails of the company, but that's another discussion for another time. In this circumstance here, when Yota Tsuji, who is a professional wrestler, aka a worker, if he grabs an opportunity here to put down AEW in front of the fans that are very pro New Japan to try and boost his profile, that's fine. If he wants to be Mr. New Japan, now that, a guy like Gabe Kidd who had tried to do that, now maybe smelling the green a little more over in North America, and there's probably other reasons why he'd want to move there as well. I think Yota Tsuji is working. I think he's just like saying the things that that hardcore New Japan fans that will go on the fucking website to read the interview are going to get excited about. They're going to clap their hands and go, "Fuck yeah, Yoda. Take Soup's ass." That outsider who came from DDT and AEW, he doesn't even come here. Tell him to hit the bricks. I think that's like, this is Pro Wrestling 101. I know there's a lot of people that I saw got really upset and they're like, well, I used to love Yota Tsuji. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, I think people don't know, and this is probably the great part of it. People don't know when they're getting worked anymore. And I think that's the great part of it. This is absolutely 100% of work. Maybe he does feel this way. Don't get me wrong. Maybe he does feel this way. Maybe there are tons of members of the New Japan roster who feel this way. Maybe Kosei Fujita feels like that. Maybe Ryohei Oiwei does. Maybe Hiroki Goto does. But they're not cutting interviews because it doesn't serve them any purposes. In this circumstance, if you're Yota Tsuji, you're going into the Tokyo Dome to co-main event, and you're going to wrestle for the richest prize in the land, which is held by a guy who is ostensibly an outsider who works principally for a company who doesn't have who doesn't have great a great fan base in Japan, that the hardcore Japanese fans sort of feel like have a negative feeling on. Well, yeah, you're gonna play this up in an interview, and you're gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna stick up for New Japan. It's as simple as that. And then the Okada comments that he made. Well, he's been trying to work Okada into a match. He tried to do that while Okada was on his way out of New Japan, all the way back then. And he was openly trashing Okada, saying, yeah, I don't think he's doing things the right way. Blah, 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 whatever. He's not working with anyone on his way out, and so on and so forth. He was super duper critical of Okada. So of course he's going to be critical of Okada here. He's going to take the opportunity to take some more shots at Okada because, again, it's going to be good for the fan base, and he's working himself. He's working his way into potentially having a match with Okada. I don't know why people got so upset about this. It's just a work. Even if it's his feelings. Can you deny that he's wrong? Can you deny that the relationship between New Japan and AEW has been equitable? That it's been on even footing? Because I think it objectively hasn't. I feel like it hasn't. I think AEW has gotten the bigger end of the stick here. It's been reported, it's been tossed around that Tony has never been to Japan for a New Japan show. He's never gone. He wasn't there for Wrestle Dynasty. He sent Rocky. He didn't go himself. Tanahashi flies over for fucking Forbidden Door. Tony doesn't go to Japan. Who did they pony up to fight Zack Sabre Jr. at Wrestle Dynasty last year? Ricochet. No disrespect against Ricochet. But we're not sending in the heavy hitters from AEW, are we? We're not sending in the Hangman. We're not sending in Swerve. We're not sending in Mox. Well, on top of that, Mox is a known commodity. I'm just saying. If you want to take this from the New Japan perspective, I don't have any issues with Yota Tsuji and what he said. And on top of that, Yota Tsuji taking a shot at the booking. A very veiled shot, but a shot nonetheless. I have to admit that I'm sore that it isn't a New Japan wrestler that's facing Tanahashi in his last match, but there isn't anyone on the roster that has the connections to Tanahashi that Okada has. Very nicely done, well put, nice and veiled, but that is a shot at the booking. Very interesting comments there by Mr. Tsuji, who I believe, without any question, is winning the match against Old Soup. I mean, he has to, right? The opposite would be extremely strange. Do you think New Japan Pro Wrestling will acquiesce to Tsuji and bring back the V4? Look, in my heart of hearts, I would like it. But like at some point, we have to get off the at some point. Let me put this another way. I thought we had stopped the belt discourse in regards to the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. I thought we had stopped the discourse over that title. And I think we missed the peak on changing it back to the V4. I think we missed the peak on that. Because if it had been 2 years ago, even still, I think that would have been still good timing. But now it's like, it doesn't, look, if they bring it back, I've always preferred, I'm not a guy who is invested in title belts all that much. but the ones I like, and I really like. And the IWGP Heavyweight Championship belt was always like my favorite one because it always looked like a prize. And I know the AEW World Title took inspiration from that, and it looks like a prize too. And it's a belt I like as well. I love the design of it. So would I be upset that they brought it back? No, of course not. It's a much better looking belt, and it has true history, and it feels like it has true gravitas to it. I love it. But, I think it's weird that we're still on this, that Tsuji is still keeping it alive, where I feel like a lot of people are just, they've come to terms with the other belt. And I think there's fans today that don't even know what the other belt looked like. So you can't deny he's wrong, but the only thing is WWE fans take Yoda's in-character work as a shoot to feed their delusions. Oh, I mean, they'll pick up on anything. They don't know who Yota Tsuji is outside of him being a New Japan wrestler. And since he's talking trash about AEW, well, then he'll take the opportunity about it. But who does that reflect poorly on? The bots that are the bots that are relaying this message. The people who can't see through this. They're the idiots. They're the guys who end up looking like fucking morons because they can't tell a work from their asshole. Anyway, Aaron Wolf versus Evil for the Never Openweight Championship. This is the test, right? Aaron Wolf has been training with Evil. Evil has been tasked to train Aaron Wolf into shape from the very small things that the insiders I know have shared. Apparently, Aaron Wolf is taking his training very, very seriously. He's working extremely hard. We'll see how much he takes. I have nothing. There's nothing else I know. So it'll be a full level of discovery here. Of course, he's beating Evil for the title. There's no way. If I'm booking this, he beats Evil in less than like 5 minutes. He just completely trounces him. And not only does he trounce him, but he goes through the entire House of Torture. Make this guy your megastar right off the bat and have him just like beat fools. Turn him into a Brock Lesnar in that type of position where he's just like trashing guys. And then eventually maybe he'll be ready for the high level work rate match, or maybe he never will. But it all starts on January 4th in just 3 days. For a way to determine the number one contender for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, we'll have El Desperado, Kosei Fujita, Taiji Ishimori, and Sho. For fuck's sake. Why isn't the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship on the line, period? Why aren't we doing Desperado versus Doki, the match we were supposed to get last year? Why aren't we just running that back? It is a match fans want. It is a match that North American fans want. It is a match that Japanese fans want. I don't know what the fuck we're doing here. Point positive, Kosei Fujita's on the card. As well as El Desperado, don't get me wrong. But Kosei Fujita is a guy that could have been easily tossed aside. And then we have to deal with Taiji Ishimori and Sho. All right. The rest of this card, man, it's like, David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, Drilla Maloney, Shingo Takagi, and Hiromu Takahashi will be taking on the United Empire, right? Callum Newman, Great Khan, Hanare, Andrade Il Idolo, who was revealed to be the financial backer of the United Empire. Talked about that last week. And still one person, TBA. So we still have one surprise up our sleeve for the United Empire. I've seen some pipe dreams that it might be Will Ospreay, and they've particularly been fervent since it was revealed that he was going to be at the Tanahashi ceremony. It's like, all right, Don't think so. I think he's legitimately hurt. I think, look, I heard that Carl Fredericks is in Japan, but there's a very fair chance that he's in Japan to support his girlfriend, right? Charlie, the former Dakota Kai, who was going to be doing some work in Japan. So he might just be there just to hang out, go see some friends, support her and whatnot. I mean, if it's Carl Fredericks, it's extremely, it's extremely disappointing. Like, New Japan is very bad at these TBAs, to be honest. They're very bad at it. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Saya Kamatani and Shuri will go head to head in another winner-takes-all match, this time for the IWGP Women's Championship, which is Shuri's title, versus the Strong Women's Championship, which is Saya Kamatani's secondary title. Get this shit off of Saya Kamatani. Kill this fucking Strong brand. Who gives a shit? I hope these titles are unified and that we never speak of the Strong titles ever again. It's a dead brand. Folks, what are we doing here? It's a dead brand. Who cares? Move on. Like, they felt that they had to create these North American titles to get North American fans excited about New Japan going to North America or the United States. But no one cares. That's the thing. It's like no one gives a fuck about the Strong titles. It's crazy how New Japan has never completely understood that the allure of going to see a New Japan show in North America is to see the stars of New Japan and not like people associated with New Japan in America that we can see on other shows too. That's not the thrill. The thrill is being able to see Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kazuchika Okada. That's the thrill. It's to see Tomohiro Ishii, but this was before he got onto AEW television and is now there all the time. Like, that was the thrill. So it's the same thing with the titles. We don't need our localized titles. Come defend the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Come defend the Intercontinental Championship. Those are the things that people were excited about. And then they're like, no, we'll create titles for North America. Who cares? Who cares? Doesn't matter. Then there's a Rambo, the never open weight, for the open weight six-man tag team championship. I am not looking forward to this. Toru Yano, Master Wato, and Yo will be defending against Tiger Mask, Togi Makabe, and Rizuke Taguchi. And against Bolton, Oleg, and Bishamon. And Tomohiro Ishii and Taichi and Satoshi Kojima. And Ren Narita, Sanada, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. That's another team. Then the TMDK team of Zack Sabre Jr., Ryohei Oyo, and Hartley Jackson. And then Shota Umino and Yuya Umera, along with Kaisei Takechi, who again is that pop star who now wrestles in DDT. So they're putting all the handsome, strapping young lads together. And then the Bullet Club War Dogs, Clark Connors, and the KO Bros, Oscar and Yuto Ice. I'm not looking forward to this. I don't know why this is on the main card. I don't know who. Like, I get it. Like, this is the thing. Everyone gets to be on the card. I understand. Jesus Christ. And then the pre-show is El Phantasmo defending the New Japan World TV Championship against Chris Brooks, which should be entertaining. Don't get me wrong. ELP versus Chris Brooks should be fun. So there you go. That's the extremely underwhelming Wrestle Kingdom 20 card. All they can do now, they being the wrestlers of New Japan Professional Wrestling, is go beyond the expectations of this being an ass card and deliver something that will completely blindside us and will make all of us look stupid for thinking that this card isn't good or doesn't look good. Look, I have no doubt that the final two matches are going to be exciting. They're going to be good to great, hopefully excellent. I have no doubt that the last two matches are going to be something special. The rest, couldn't tell you. I mean, Saya versus Shuri, they will probably maximize whatever little amount of time they'll have. Right? Wasn't it last year? They had Mayu and Azumi, right? Was it Mayu and Azumi on the Wrestle Kingdom card last year? And that match was excellent. And they had like 9 minutes that they had. And they took advantage of every single second in that match. They did not slap on holds. They were just like, they were delivering. It was a great work match. Can only expect the same here. And I mean, Saya Kamatani drawing more. Look, Saya Kamatani drawing 50,000 people in the Tokyo Dome. Let's be real here. We're talking about old man Tanahashi. But what about the queen of Korakuen now becoming the queen of the Tokyo Dome? Anyway, we'll see how this all turns out in just a couple of days, and then I will review it, and it will be available here on the channel for members of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show in early access, then later on the podcast for everyone to listen to, consume, and enjoy. In slight TNA news, Leon Slater is defending the X Division title against Myron Reed on the AMC premiere on January 15, and Santana Kazarian for the world title got moved off Genesis and onto the premiere. Well, they should do that. Don't get me wrong. For Santana. I mean, Santana's going to win it back. That's what they should do. Myron Reed and Leon Slater is a fantastic ad. I mean, that match is going to be killer. But look, like, we all know what's going to happen. We all know what's going to happen here, right? TNA is going to do a really good number, ratings-wise, for their premiere, right? And then after that, it's just going to keep going down and down and down, and then they're going to find their ceiling or their floor, and that's where they're going to hang at. But whatever the first number is going to be the anomaly, and you can only hope that it's high because the percentage drop is going to be massive. Once people are, because there's going to be a lot of curiosity, there's going to be a lot of curiosity watchers who are going to come in and take a look. And then they're going to hit the bricks, the week after when they realize that, TNA is ass. Well, I mean, part of it is in the name. But they're not going to come back and watch. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to do that. But you're going to get the beginning opening, curiosity bump. You're going to get that. But then after that, everything's just going to dribble away. I'm sure Delirious and Tommy Dreamer will cook up something amazing. Oh, brother. Oh, man. The most creative duo in all of wrestling. Man, oh man, Tommy Dreamer. I am not sure what their opening number is going to be either. Particularly since the new rating stuff with Nielsen. I don't know. I have no idea. Particularly since the Nielsen stuff just completely messed everything up. Because every outlet that I listen to for ratings news, they're all using the same basis. They're all saying, yeah, you know what? we're not touching any ratings news, until all this gets sorted, until we get more baselines, until we get at least a year in. We can't compare. We can't do comparisons because it's not adequate. It's not adequate. It's not, what's the word? It's not exact. You can't be comparing the new model with the old model. That would be irresponsible and so on and so forth. So, however, regardless of the models, we can still point to the fact that WWE did not trend globally for the week of December 22nd. They were not in the top 10. And for the first time since the Netflix move, they did not chart in the top 10 in the United States. And the fucking Fireplace on Netflix got more views. The fucking Fireplace was watched more than Monday Night Raw. Globally and in the US. You think I'm kidding, right? But I'm not. The Birchwood, what the fuck was it called? The Birchwood Fireplace for Your Home, something like that, on Netflix. That was watched more by more people than Monday Night Raw. You don't need Nielsen to tell you that. That's straight out of Netflix's mouth. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up for tonight, folks. Going to bring it all to a screeching halt. And head on over to the Good Nightsville, and we are going to be back this weekend with the Wrestle Kingdom 20 review. I mean, I'd prefer to review Wrestle Kingdom 12. Yeah, we're going to be doing that this weekend. So that will be available for members only of the channel. To begin with, it'll be released later next week than afterwards. So if you want to get in on the ground floor with that, you know what to do. Become a member. Start your new year off on the right foot. Become a member of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show. You won't regret it? ? I will be back otherwise on Monday for another stream, and we'll be back to our regular schedule now that the holidays will be behind us. Thank you for starting off this new year with me on this live stream. I appreciate you all so very much. Hope you all have a great rest of your week and whatever time you have left for holidays celebrating. Go watch some Randy Orton and get back to me. And I will see you next time.